makes the job really quick. There are automatic decappers you can buy, so you can just pull that frame out, put it in the automatic decapper, and the conveyor belt takes it into a horizontal extractor, spins it, honey is pumped through a pipe into a holding tank, and then the machine pushes the frames out, and you just have to stand on the other end and put them back in the box, so you don't touch them at all. That's an expensive $100,000 outfit. So we're not going to have one of those soon here. So, again, this is in a garage. This is a little 6-frame extractor, electric one I had. And so, makes it pretty easy. The frames simply stand up inside of the extractor. And when the bees make honey, the cells are always at a 15-degree angle up. So as you put this frame into the extractor like so, the cells are exposed like so. And then as you spin this, it slings the honey out of the cells onto the wall of the extractor, and it runs down the wall and through a valve at the bottom called the honey gate, which you can see right here. So the honey runs down the wall through the honey gate and then through a filter into, in this case, a 5-gallon bucket. We'll have the setup in there for you to see also. So that's called a radial extractor. And then there are smaller extractors like this one. One thing about working with honey, you can lick your fingers at the end of this. So this is called a tangential extractor. It's a manual one, and this one just does 2 frames. And it's set up so that you can do deep frames. If you have an excess of honey in the bottom, which is not usually recommended, you can pull one of those deep frames that's fully tapped on both sides and place them in here. And in this case, they're placed straight down. So if you had a deep frame like so, you simply go straight down like this, as opposed to being this way. So a radial extractor would have them this way, and it extracts honey from both sides simultaneously. This tangential will only extract honey from one side. This vacuum hardware down there. So you place that in there, and then crank it, and crank it, crank it, and crank it, until you've pretty much got all of the honey out of one side, and you have to pull it out, reverse it, and do the other side. And you can do 2 at a time in here. So this is perfect for someone with a few hives in the backyard. If you get 10 or more hives, this will take a long time and a lot of cranking. Yeah. And so you can get these also in an electrical version, like the one here, that spins it faster, quicker, and does a more efficient job of getting all the honey out. And, we have stainless steel 400 and 600 micron filter. It's actually a strainer, not a filter. We don't filter our honey. It's not heated. It's just 80 degrees, hopefully, in our honey facility. And those stringers simply catch some of the wax that falls off, some of the excess wax. And now and then a bee's knee or a bee's wing, maybe, or something like that. But for the most part, it takes the wax out, so you don't have larger clumps of wax. And the second filter underneath this vessel's in the filter. The second filter picks out even the finer pieces of wax. There are still some very fine pieces of wax. The Catholic Church only allows beeswax candles. Quite a large market there. And the marketing of candles and soaps and those kinds of things with beeswax in them is pretty easy. We have a friend in Kansas City who sells about $10,000 worth of soap every December. And she uses beeswax in the soap. And she also sells candles and that all year long, and she does really well with that. So a separate class on actually making candles is something we'll do beyond this. What we would like to do today is take you from the wax that you created in the shop, in the bee extraction facility, and how you get it to this level.